Bad Brains, CBGBs, 1982 going into 83, the Christmas shows. The last of the Christmas shows was the first gig I ever went to. They're the greatest band that ever existed. You know, I know people say The Clash is the only band that mattered, but for me, the Bad Brains are that band. That moment, that first 30 seconds that I saw them, is my life just went like that instantly. Never the same. That'd have to be A7. You know, I really, learned how to play music in A7. The sense of community, because it was so small at that time. Yeah, A7. Back when I first started coming around, everybody each had such a unique style. John Watson was like as graceful as a ballerina. Diego would run off the stage at CB's with spurs on his MC boots and make it almost to the soundboard. Jimmy had his hands behind his back mosh. Stigma had his style. Like, everybody had their own style. But I'd have to say, John Watson. The show I missed that I wish I would have saw was the Bad Brains reunion shows at Jane Street Rock Hotel. I was a runaway kid and I had gotten in trouble and I was in a group home, so I missed those shows, and those are the ones I really regret missing. Well, the first two are easy, Mackie and Earl. Third, I'd have to go with Chuck Biscuits, because the stuff Chuck did on those demos with Flag and any of the live footage you see him with Circle Jerks, it's just next level. Yeah, I lived in squats. There was lots of punk rock crash pads, lots of squatting. It was a different time down here. It was a different time in, I think, all of our lives. And 14-year-old kid, I could do that. I could sleep in an abandoned building because I just lived for the next day, hanging out, going to the next gig. But now as a 40-something-year-old man, oh my God, never. Doc is number one. Doc has always been my favorite guitar player. I don't think there's a more original guitar player alive on the planet. Bubba Dupree from Void. I remember seeing Void at Jane Street Rock Hotel, and it was Void and Scream, and I was on certain hallucinogenics, and Bubba Dupree, I melted watching him play. I mean, he was just so out there. And then Greg Ginn from Black Flag. I have a new band called Fireburn. It's me, Israel Joseph I, who sang on the Bad Brains Rise record, Todd Jones from, he was in Carry On, Terror, and he plays in Nails now. And we got this young kid, Nick Townsend, playing drums, who's a monster. Our EP just came out, and we're playing our first New York show today here at the Ray Beast Tribute. I really love Fury from California. There's a band called Skullcrack from California that's happening right now. I mean, most of the stuff I'm up on is, I live in LA, so it's most of the local bands in LA, the younger kids. And then a lot of the UK stuff that's happening right now, Arms Race, Violent Reaction, even though they're not together anymore, I'm a big fan of. There's a band, Deadbeat LA, that are awesome. I mean, there's a lot of good new bands out there, and I'm just glad. I never would have thought in my wildest imagination, 35 years later, I'd be still going to see hardcore bands and checking out new bands and still getting blown away by new bands. Hardcore will never die. There's really nothing else to say. I can't put that one in there, man.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll tell you what it was. When I was 12 years old, Stigma told me